Chapter 3. From Gathering to Growing Food. Varieties of foods. Today, most of our food such as fruit, vegetables, grain, milk and meat comes from plants that are grown and animals that are reared. Different plants grow in different conditions. Rice, for example, requires more water than wheat and barley. This explains why farmers grow crops in some areas and not in other areas. Different animals too prefer different environments. For instance, sheep and goat can survive more easily than cattle in dry, hilly environments. But as you saw in chapter 2, women and men did not always produce their own food. The beginning of farming and herding. We have seen in chapter 2 that the climate of the world was changing, and so were plants and animals that people used as food. Men, women, and children probably observed several things: the places where edible plants were found, how seeds broke off stalks, fell on the ground, and new plants sprouted from them. Perhaps they began looking after plants, protecting them from birds and animals, so that they could grow and the seeds could ripen. In this way, people became farmers. Women, men, and children could also attract and then tame animals by leaving food for them near their shelters. The first animal to be tamed was the wild ancestor of the dog. Later, people encouraged animals that were relatively gentle to come near the camps where they lived. These animals such as sheep, goat, cattle, and also the pigs lived in herds, and most of them ate grass. Often people protected these animals from attacks by other wild animals. This is how they became herders. Domestication is the name given to the process in which people grow plants and look after animals. Very often, plants and animals that are tended by people become different from wild plants and animals. This is because people select plants and animals for domestication. For example, they select those plants and animals that are not prone to disease. They also select plants that yield large size grain and have strong stalks, capable of bearing the weight of the ripe grain. Seeds from selected plants are preserved and sown to ensure that new plants and seeds will have the same qualities. Amongst animals, those that are relatively gentle are selected for breeding. As a result, gradually, domesticated animals and plants become different from wild animals and plants. For example, the teeth and horns of wild animals are usually much larger than those of domesticated animals. Domestication was a gradual process that took place in many parts of the world. It began about 12,000 years ago. Virtually all the plants and animal produce that we use as food today is a result of domestication. Some of the earliest plants to be domesticated were wheat and barley. The earliest domesticated plant animals include sheep and goat. A new way of life. If you plant a seed, you will notice that it takes some time to grow. This may be for several days, weeks, months, and in some cases, years. When people began growing plants, it meant that they had to stay in the same place for a long time, looking after the plants, watering, weeding, driving away animals and birds, till the grain ripened, and then the grain had to be used carefully. As grain had to be stored for both food and seed, people had to think of ways of storing it. In many areas, they began making large clay pots or woven baskets or dug pits into the ground. Storing animals. Animals multiply naturally. Besides, if they are looked after carefully, they produce milk, which is an important source of food, and meat whenever required. In other words, animals that are reared can be used as a store of food. Finding about the first farmer and herders. You will notice a number of blue squares in the map too. Each marks a site from where archaeologists have found evidence of early farmers and herders. These are found all over the subcontinent. Some of the most important ones are in northwest, in present-day Kashmir, and in east and south India. To find out whether these sites are settlements of farmers and herders, scientists study evidence of plants and animal bones. One of the most exciting finds includes remains of burnt grain. These may have been burnt accidentally or on purpose. Scientists can identify these grains, and so we know that a number of crops were grown in different parts of the subcontinent. They can also identify the bones of different animals. Look at the table below to see where evidence of grain and bones of domesticated animals have been found. Grain and bones: wheat, barley, sheep, goat, cattle, Mehergarh in the present day Pakistan. Rice, fragmentary animal bones, Koldiwar in the present day Uttar Pradesh. Rice, cattle, hoof marks on clay surface. Mahagra in present day Uttar Pradesh. Wheat and lentil. Gufkral in present day Kashmir. Wheat and lentil, dog, cattle, sheep, goat, buffalo. Burzahum in the present day Kashmir. Wheat, green gram, barley, buffalo, ox. Chirand in present day Bihar. Millet, cattle, sheep, goat, pig. Halur in present day Andhra Pradesh. Black gram, millet, cattle, sheep, pig. Payampali in present day Andhra Pradesh. These are just some of the sites from which grain and bones have been found. Towards a settled life. Archaeologists have found traces of huts or houses at some sites. For instance, in Burzahum, present day Kashmir, people built pit houses which were dug into ground with steps leading into them. These may have provided shelter in cold weather. Archaeologists have also found cooking hearths both inside and outside the huts, which suggests that depending on the weather, people could cook food either indoors or outdoors. Stone tools have been found from many sites as well. Many of these are different from the earlier Paleolithic tools, and that is why they are called Neolithic. These include tools that were polished to give a fine cutting edge, and mortars and pestles used for grinding grain and other plant produce. Mortars and pestles are used for grinding grain even today, several thousand years later. At the same time, tools of Paleolithic types continued to be made and used. And remember, some tools were also made of bone. Many kinds of earthen pots have also been found. These were sometimes decorated and were used for storing things. People began using pots for cooking food, especially grains like rice, wheat, and lentils, that now became an important part of the diet. Besides, they began weaving cloth using different kinds of materials, for example cotton, that could now be grown. Did things change everywhere and all at once? Not quite. In many areas, men and women still continue to hunt and gather food, and elsewhere, people adopted farming and herding slowly over several thousand years. Besides, in some cases, people tried to combine these activities, doing different things during different seasons. What about other customs and practices? Archaeology does not tell us directly about these. Scholars have studied the lives of present-day farmers who practice simple agriculture. They have also studied the lives of herders. Many of these farmers and herders live in groups called tribes. Scholars find that they follow certain customs and practices that may have existed earlier as well. Tribes. Usually 2 to 3 generations live together in small settlements or villages. Most families are related to one another, and group of such families form a tribe. Members of a tribe follow occupations such as hunting, gathering, farming, herding, and fishing. Usually women do most of the agricultural work, including preparing the ground, sowing seeds, looking after the grown plants, and harvesting grain. Children often look after the plants, driving away animals and birds that might eat them. Women also thresh, husk, and find and grind grain. Men usually lead large herds of animals in search of pasture. Children often look after small flocks. The cleaning of animals and milking is done by both men and women. Both women and men make pots, baskets, tools, and huts. They also take part in singing, dancing, and decorating their huts. Some men are regarded as leaders. They may be old and experienced or young, brave warriors or priests. Old women are respected for their wisdom and experience. Tribes have rich and unique cultural traditions, including their own language, music, stories, and paintings. They also have their own gods and goddesses. What makes tribes different from many other societies? you will be studying about is that land, forest, grasslands and water are regarded as the wealth of the entire tribe, and everybody shares and uses these together. There are no sharp differences between rich and the poor. A closer look. Living and dying in Mehergarh. Mehergarh site is located in a fertile plain near the Bolan Pass, which is one of the most important routes into Iran. Mehergarh was probably one of the places where women and men learned to grow barley and wheat and rear sheep and goats for the first time in this area. It is one of the earliest villages that we know about. Archaeologists who excavated the site found evidence of many kinds of animals' bones from the earliest levels. These included bones of wild animals such as the deer and pig. In later levels, they found more bones of sheep and goat, and in still later levels, cattle bones are most common, suggesting that this was the animal that was generally kept by the people. Earlier and later levels. When archaeologists are digging at an excavation site, how do they know which level is earlier and which is later? Look at the illustration. Suppose people start living on a flat land. Over the years, the surface will gradually rise because people discard waste material and generally stay and rebuild houses in the same place. After hundreds of years, this leads to the formation of a mound. So, when this mound is dug up, what is found from the upper layers of the mound is generally from a later time than what is found from the lower layers of the mound, which are older. These upper and lower layers are often referred to as levels. Other finds at Mehergarh include remains of square or rectangular houses. Each house had 4 or more compartments, some of which may have been used for storage. When people die, their relatives and friends generally pay respect to them. People look after them, perhaps in the belief that there is some form of life after death. Burial is one such arrangement. Several burial sites have been found at Mehergarh. In one instance, the dead person was buried with goats, which were probably meant to serve as food in the next world. A closer look. Daujali Heding. Daujali is a site on the hills near Brahmaputra Valley, close to routes leading into China and Myanmar. Here, stone tools including mortars and pestles have been found. These indicate that people were probably growing grain and preparing food from it. Other finds include jadid, a stone that may have been brought from China. Also common are finds of tools made of fossil wood and pottery.